Hi guys, I'm Crime Fighter, and I have to do a little courtesy sharing of information with promoters around the state of Illinois. This is not meant for wrestling fans because what you're about to see is not what a professional wrestling match looks like. Last night I went to Rock and Roll Wrestling in Wapella, Illinois, and after I got there, there was some question asked of me of who this gentleman was. Now this guy claims to be with All American Wrestling, and his name is Mr. USAT, who's apparently from Bloomington, Illinois. Now this gentleman here, I've never even heard of. I've never seen his name come up on a wrestling card in the state of Illinois ever before. And after doing a little questioning of this gentleman, this AAW he's referring to, refers to a promotion that hasn't run a show in 5 years because the promoter is deceased. That would be Colonel JT Presents All American Wrestling. And All American Wrestling, or like I call CJTP AAW, not to be confused with the very excellent AAW promotion up in Berwyn, Chicago. This promotion produced nothing but bad memories. Friends of mine has been stiffed when they tried to work that show at that debacle at Pontoon Beach. But this gentleman sends an email to Buck Zumhofe claiming he's a trained wrestler. He told me that he's trained by Steve Montana, and that this AEW is now owned by Cowboy Bob Orton, and they're running shows all across the country. I believe that would be news to Bob Orton. It's also news to everybody in St. Louis who know that this promotion has not run a show in 5 years and is no longer in existence. Furthermore, as the other St. Louis wrestling community, if this promotion was still running shows, I would know about it. Somebody would tell me or tip me off. I'd at least find information on the promotion somewhere. And Google comes up with nothing. Facebook comes up with nothing. MySpace comes up with nothing. So this gentleman, who claims to be from Bloomington, Illinois, managed to convince Buck Zumhofe to book him and his friend for a match. So let's take a look at the results of that.
He is Mr. USA
I see in the paper today that the troops came back. You know, God bless the troops. I'm here to defend the USA for today. Also known as Mr. USAT.
Yeah, thanks. This is who you have representing Illinois. The average man, I'll tell you, I'm an average man. I can beat any average man, and Berg here can beat anyone from Illinois. We're going to prove that right now. Hey, I'll vote.
Now the first couple of shots of this, you can see that neither guy knew to even do a basic headlock takeover. As you see, Mr. T trying to go for a waistlock on this Berg guy who had no wrestling training whatsoever, and look at that horrible attempt at a roll-up. I mean, you can't even do that basic maneuver. You have no business being in the ring. This Berg guy, I have absolutely no idea who he is. I did not talk to him. He does not look like he's had any training whatsoever either. I think he rode here with his buddy, Mr. USAT. Now, I looked through results of old CJTP AEW, and oh, look at that. He tries to go for a back body drop, and they just clunk heads and shoulders together. I looked through old results in my archives and could not find Mr. USAT in them anywhere. Berg also not in there. So, And Eric Lockhart, he is a real trooper for having to put up with this crap. He had to get in there with these two backyarders that had no idea what they were doing, lied about their training credentials. Looks like he tries to drop a shoulder and go for pinfall. I mean, Berg had no idea what he's doing. No basic ring psychology in here either. And Mr. USAT here acting like he's pissed off about, I guess, being embarrassed. But they should both be embarrassed because there's a reason why you don't see these two booked anywhere in the state of Illinois on a wrestling show. Promoters apparently do know who these are and do not want anything to do with them. As you saw, this cheap attempt at another takedown failed miserably. And we're shouting at these guys, they suck, they suck, they suck, and we're thinking one of these guys is going to get seriously injured. And there's another crappy attempt at a headlock. These guys are just bouncing around the ring, just not knowing what they're doing. Now, look at this. This Mr. USAT is getting even more pissed off that he got in the ring with this guy, I guess. Now we have another attempt at a headlock and another failed takedown. My gosh. And at this point, we're yelling at Eric Lockhart to do something and just break this match up, and he gets in there, finally attacks this moron, and looks like they were going to try and do a double Irish whip, but Berg has no idea what to do either. I mean, it's just embarrassing. Oh, now we have a third attempt to throw him in the ropes. And Mr. USAT doesn't even know how to run the ropes. Now he finally does a wrestling move and hits a clothesline of Eric Lockhart. At least Eric Lockhart knows how to bump. These two guys don't know how to bump at all. And look at that pathetic throwing of a punch. So this Mr. USAT can't even throw a punch besides do a basic wrestling move. And the same goes for that douchebag known as Berg. Now, Heather Zumhofe, who was in charge of the show, was in a kind of a tough spot. Her dad wanted to give these guys a chance, although Buck Zumhofe was out in Pennsylvania for a Wrestling Legends fan convention. Couldn't be here this night, but she was in a tough spot. But she was warned about these guys. I did my homework and gave her the information she needed to make a decision, but she decided to just let them have an exhibition match. Oh, now he finally does something resembling a wrestling move, maybe because Eric Lockhart knows how to take a move, kind of carry this guy a little bit. Strange thing being, this Mr. USAT claims that CJTP AEW is still promoting shows, and Bob Orton is the promoter, and they're going to run their next show in the state of Pennsylvania. But everything he said, everything these guys said that their credentials are, and Lockhart gives them a backbreaker to show them what a real wrestling move feels like. Yeah, go shoot on him a little bit, but he deserves it. I expect one of these guys to burn up my email box saying, "How dare you slander and libel me? I'm the greatest trained wrestler in the state of Illinois, blah, 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 blah." Yeah, if that's true, then you come down to Decatur, Illinois, see if you can make it through a 2-hour training session at our MBS Pro Wrestling Training Center at Skywalker's International Sports Complex, 8 o'clock, Tuesday and Thursday. See if you can make it through a 2-hour training session without getting winded and quitting like in the first 15 minutes or so because you've never trained a day in your lives. And frankly, I hope we never see you guys in a wrestling ring again. There's plenty of Central Illinois talent that should have been on this show. Not a couple of backyarders who had to lie and scheme to get booked on this show.